Good evening, folks. Could everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, I'm Councilwoman Joanne Ryan. I'm calling the Committee on Ordinance regular meeting to order Monday, April 12th. It is 6:29 p.m. Madam Clerk, could you kindly read the roll?
Chairwoman Ryan,
Present.
Vice Chairwoman Castillo,
Present.
Councilman Narducci. Councilman Narducci.
I believe he's muted.
Councilwoman Harris.
I'm here, Councilman Narducci, sorry.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you.
Councilman Miller.
Present.
Councilman- We have 5 present and 0 absent. We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Let the record reflect. We have Councilwoman Miller. We have Councilwoman LaFortune. We have Councilman Espinal with us. We have Councilman Gunn-Calls. Is that it, Madam Clerk?
Councilwoman Anthony.
Oh, Councilwoman Anthony is with us as well. Okay. We have City Solicitor Lisa Dinneman with us. Thank you very much. And with that, I think we're ready to go. I'd first like to take a motion to take an item out of order. I would like to take item 2 first on our agenda. If that is okay, may I have
Taking a
that?
motion.
Motion made by Councilwoman Castillo, seconded by Deputy Majority Leader Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion passes. I'm going to ask to waive the reading of item 2 because of its length. And I need that motion. Council Vice Chair Castillo makes that motion to waive the reading of item 2, seconded by Deputy Leader Harris. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Item 2 is before us, is before the committee. Bobby's, we've got to do everything that we did at the public hearing, so we need to motion a substitution for item 2. May I have a motion to substitute?
Taking a motion.
Motion made by Councilwoman Vice Chair Castillo, seconded by Majority Leader Harris. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Ayes have it. So we have a substitution. Anything else?
That is it for the.
Okay, we're good to go. Mr. Azar, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Picking up from the public hearing, if there's anything else you would like to say regarding this matter, please do so now.
No, I have nothing more to say. I'm comfortable where things stand.
And it's in conformance with the comprehensive plan, the matter before us?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. All right. Deputy, actually, what I'd like to do right now, out of an abundance of caution, I'd like to ask the clerk to pull up the substitution.
The PDF. So
PDF.
you gotta share screen first. And see where it says amended. No,
You don't have it?
no, it's up there and second row. Yep. Click and share.
Okay. That is it before us. I can see. Councilwoman Harris, you are the sponsor of this. I know you've worked very, very hard. I just wanted to present this out of an abundance of caution, as I stated before. This matters. One of the folks testified that this has been a long haul. I would agree with that. I think it's a tremendous opportunity. It's a generous donation from the petitioner. As everybody knows, and as was expressed in the public hearing, this is the second public hearing we've had on this matter. After the first public hearing, there was a change that was made, and essentially All of these items were removed, or limited, excuse me. The zoning was limited. I guess a big question was what was the petitioner going to utilize the property for? He very willingly expressed, limitations or agreed to limitations that Councilwoman Harris put forth to address residents' concerns. And then additionally, just before the meeting, Councilwoman Harris and the petitioner additionally worked together to provide another substitution, which is what we have in front of us now, which changes the map and limits those 4 properties that front Whitmore Street to R2, and taking them out of the C2 zone for the rest of the parcel. So that's just a presentation there. Councilwoman Harris, can you tell us about this zoning change and what you'd like to accomplish?
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Ryan and the committee. I want to thank you all for, first of all, continuing this matter till we was able to figure out exactly how to fulfill some of the requests of our neighbors, right? So I want to thank you, and most of all want to thank Mayor Palina. I want to thank him because this is a really generous donation. I spent in South Providence, I've been 56 years. Everybody know that I say I don't want to leave South Providence, right? I love this area. I've always did what I can to make sure that I was a part of this community. So that hospital itself, it was a very valuable entity in our community. I mean, many children were born in that hospital, but it no longer exists. It's a building that stands, and every now and then we get occupants that go in and out of that building to occupy it. But right now, this is a great opportunity for our neighborhood to have a beautiful, like you said, Councilwoman Ryan, a beautiful opportunity for us to have a new school, a state-of-the-art school. I mean, which now I look at our children, they really deserve to be in a beautiful place and decent schools. I heard the other night in the meeting when many people were talking about dilapidated schools and the way some of the schools are, with the kids, they're going into schools, and these schools are really unhealthy for our children. So that made me happy to know that these children will have something that is beautiful and it's new, and it's in a beautiful area around residents. Nothing is beautiful as having a school where you can hear children laughter in a neighborhood. So I welcome that. And I want to thank the mayor again for his work in providing a clear understanding of what was going to happen with that property. What I heard my neighbors say is like, we don't want to, we really want the school. So the school is not a problem. What I did hear them say was we want to know what else is going on with the rest of the property. Well, Mr. Palina was able to break it down and describe it to us. As you know, the council itself has a legislation right this term around housing, affordable housing. So this fits in the work that we are doing as council as well. I'm looking forward to working with my neighbors because it's not over. It has to be an opportunity to work with the neighbors to make sure whatever housing are there, that the neighbors themselves have been a part of it. So I'm looking forward to that. This project will be a significant economic stimulus for Broad Street Cardi. And it also is great that the collaboration between the community and the petitioner did work out, because he did hear what the community was saying about these different zoning parts, and he was able to be able to change the ones that were up problems. He was able to explain what's going to happen over in that area. And most of all, we have to understand that we can no longer leave that building standing the way it is. We have to be able to take a chance and make a change. But we can do it together in a community. I've seen this community change over and over. Like I said, I've spent 56 years here. I've seen it change over and over. And as changes are, and the community is a part of that, I believe that's how we embrace things. So thank you again, Mayor Palina, for your generous donation. I can't say enough about that. Thank you for listening to us. Thank you for all the work we put in together to make sure that something suitable came out of that. I know you wanted to do something good. And I'm going to tell you right now, you did do something good by donating that school and having an opportunity for us to have a good school in our neighborhood. I don't have an elementary, Councilwoman Casilla does, but I don't have one. And this is, I have high schools, but this is a beautiful opportunity for kids. So I thank you for that. And also, in closing, I want to say, I'm looking forward to us standing together in a press conference over at the Peace and Plenty. I was over there a couple weeks ago. What a beautiful place. You got to go all the way inside to really appreciate the beauty, the diversity, the culture, and just the love that people put in that garden. I mean, my intention is to go there every now and then just for therapy because it was beautiful that day. Mr. Palina, you have set an example for other pro-profit people or for-profit to do the right thing and help and stand up and do the right thing when there is not enough equity. So I thank you for that. I want to appreciate what you've done, and I thank you. Councilwoman Ryan, if this is the time, I would like to make a motion.
If we could, I see a hand up. Councilwoman Anthony has her hand up. Just hold on with that thought, Councilwoman Harris. I'd like to instruct the clerk or ask the Madam Clerk if she would kindly take down the substitution at this point. Thank you very much. We return to the screen. I see, thank you very much for your remarks, Councilwoman Harris. I know how hard you've worked on this. And Councilwoman Anthony, you have your hand up.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairwoman. I wanted to thank the Deputy Majority Leader for that wonderful, wonderful speech. And I'm so happy that, you know, you were pleased with the outcome. I guess I would just have one question for you. Did you mention affordable housing? Is some of this rezoned area going to be affordable housing?
Madam Chair?
Please go right ahead. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, yes, we would like to work at that. I'm going to be honest with you, Councilwoman Anthony. I've been lining myself up for that bond money to the state. I've been working with people, you know, and Councilwoman Ryan is right there with me. We're gonna try to figure out exactly how to do something great over there. You know, not just low income, but what can we do to make it like for people who are, Councilwoman Castillo said, make $10 more, and now they are part of a mixed income. People don't want to leave the neighborhood. What about some housing? I would like to see some experiment things happen over there. And we have the former mayor have put in a petition that we can do just that type of housing. So I actually started talking with some of the CDs so we can start envisioning what that would look like and work with the neighbors to see, you know, I mean, what we can do.
Great.
Working together.
Thank you, Councilwoman Harris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Anthony. I see Councilman Espinal. Did I see Espinal?
It was,
Okay. I think we're good. Councilwoman Harris, what's your pleasure? Oh, you're muted.
Got to buy me a
You're
mask. With that, Councilwoman, I want to thank again the committee. I want to thank the committee for their work, and I want to thank the committee for allowing us to get together with the mayor and Mr. Wayne Kazera and Bob Azar, Sean Bouchon, so many others. I want to thank Rollin for coming out first. Rollin to come out first to do the first presentation on the schools. We got a lot of work to do because Mayor Paulina, you're not responsible for the for traffic and all of that stuff, but we do know who is. So I do have the support of my committee and many people on the team that is willing to stick with me and help me through this whole process. So no matter what comes out of that, I know I have big support and we're gonna do something great over there. So with that being said, I'd like to make a motion that the full council, that we pass this tonight and
As amended,
full council.
Second.
as amended,
Second
as
motion.
amended, seconded by Vice Chair Castillo and Narducci. I would just like to say, this is a recipe for success. The petitioner bent over backwards, worked very, very hard with the councilwoman, the planning department, our policy director, to address the concerns head-on of the community. We took time, we continued this matter, we had lively discussion, and what has come out is a wonderful, wonderful development, a well-needed school that is going to be a state-of-the-art school to serve that community, to serve Providence, quite honestly, as well as there was much interest in a community garden, thanks to the petitioner, an additional donation of that community garden space that is so precious and vibrant and important to the community. So good, well done, good work, everybody. And as far as affordable housing, we have all the pieces in place. This body funded or made available bond dollars, $20 million dollars in bond funding to make affordable housing happen in our city. We just passed the bond, school bond, so that this project will be funded as well. It takes time, and in this instance, time well spent. So thank you all for your diligence. This is the beginning, certainly not the end. I look forward to seeing great things happen on Broad Street. And once again, thank you all for your hard work. With that, we have a motion to approve as amended. That's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion passes. Thank you very much. This goes before the full council. Thank you all on that one. Well done.
Thank
Good
you.
evening.
Good
Okay, don't anybody go. Item number 1. Madam Clerk, could you kindly read that into the record?
Petition from John J. Garahi. Garahi?
Yep.
John J. Garahibal, LLC, 2088 Broad Street, Cranston, Rhode Island, 02905. Requesting a zone change for the property located in Assessor's Plat 101, Lot 793, 845 Allen Avenue, from C-1 to M-1.
Okay. So we, per direction from the clerk, I need to enter the substitution, the CPC letter, and some testimony, as we did at the public hearing. So why don't we start by, I need a motion to substitute this petition.
Taken a motion.
Motion made by Vice Chair Castillo, seconded by
Second motion.
Councilman Narducci. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, so we have the substitution. Motion to enter the CPC letter dated March 23rd to this committee. Motion
Taken a
made by
motion.
Vice Chair Castillo, seconded by Councilman Narducci and Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. We have the CPC letter entered, and the last item is, or the last piece is, we have a package of testimony that was provided to our clerk's office. May I have a motion to enter the package of testimony to this?
Taken a motion.
Motion made by Councilwoman Castillo, seconded by Councilman Narducci and Harris. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay. We're ready to discuss this item. Mr. Azar, are you still with us? I know you're on a tight schedule this evening.
I'm here.
Talk about this item 1.
Yeah, this is, again, this is a petition to, change this zoning to warehouse use. Again, we think with the restrictions that have been placed on the petition, that it's appropriate and consistent with the comprehensive plan.
Thank you very much. And that, there is the language in the CPC letter that is attached, correct?
That's correct.
Who is the petitioner on this? Who's the sponsor of this petition?
This would be Mr. Garahy.
Okay. Oop,
He's
I
on
can see
muting.
it. Attorney Garahy, are you with us?
Madam Chair, I'm here, yes.
Okay. Please tell us what you are attempting to do here.
Right. Madam Chair, thank you. As I said at the public hearing, this is a business that's been in the city since 1949. It's a wholesale business that delivers to small retail businesses in the city, purely within the state of Rhode Island, mostly in the city of Providence, and essentially very limited in activity, the minimal hours. The limitations at the request of, frankly, the neighborhood is to limit that M1 zone to just the commercial uses. So the commercial uses are those which are very much in the C zone. So it's an attempt to essentially limit it to the warehouse use that our client intends to use, plus commercial uses that would otherwise be permitted in the C1 zone where the property is currently located.
So why don't we, if you don't mind, I'd like to just put the substitution up before everyone so that we can all see it and digest it.
Mm-hmm.
So Mr. Azar, could you please explain, I know there was testimony about concern about changing this to an M1, why can't it be C1 and expand the use? Could you just clarify that for my committee, please?
Yes. So the reason it's going to M1 is there are two reasons. One is that M1 allows warehouse and wholesale establishment. The other one is that M1 happens to be directly adjacent to this property. This is an area where M1 and C1 butt up against each other. What you're allowed to do under zoning is you're allowed to impose a zone on a piece of property and then further restrict the uses that are allowed. You can't impose a zone and then add to those uses. So if you were to say, keep it C1 and say, but a warehouse establishment and a wholesale establishment is allowed, that would not be permissible under the State's Enabling Act. So the way you have to do it is to impose a zone that is less restrictive and then impose the restrictions. And what I would say in response to this question about the comprehensive plan, the comprehensive plan speaks to the types of land uses that we want to see in an area. It doesn't always speak to the actual zones that are going to be imposed on a property. When you take a permissive zone like M1 and you impose all of these restrictions, you essentially are limiting those uses. In this case, it would be very, very similar to what would be allowed in C1. Actually, there would be fewer uses allowed than what would be allowed in C1, but it would still allow for a fair amount of commercial use to happen there. So in my opinion, this is perfectly consistent with the comprehensive plan, and it is a legitimate way to rezone a property. In fact, you've done this on a handful of other occasions with rezoning property to commercial use with restrictions so that someone could build, say, high-density residential uses. So it's a well-established method of rezoning, and it is absolutely consistent with state law and with our comprehensive plan.
Okay, thank you very much. Attorney Garahy, did you want to talk at all any further about the petitioner's intended use?
Madam Chair, if I might, the intended use is a wholesale business. It's a tobacco and candy products and those types of businesses. So it's a business that's been in the city, as I said, since 1949. been over on Atwells Avenue, near Harris Avenue for a very, very long time. You know, it's a commercial establishment. It's a by appointment sales type of business. So there are people that are coming to it, but it's not so dense and so busy that it would be disruptive in any way. And the building that's there is very conducive to that activity. If any other use were to go into it, it would have to be substantially changed. So the building is certainly conducive to this activity. And as I indicated, Bananagrams is there. That's the use on the card, frankly. And their business is, although some retail is more or less a wholesale business, you know, the nature of businesses with the internet is certainly changing. So this would certainly be consistent with a wholesale or warehouse type of activity.
Thank you, Attorney Garrity. Madam Clerk, could you kindly take the substitution down so that we can entertain further discussion? Councilman Espinal, I see you have your hand up.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee, good evening, and all those in attendance. Welcome to Washington Park and Lower South Providence. It's a very vibrant neighborhood comprised of very active advocates and families and people that want to do well for themselves and their family. This area particularly, it's a mix M1, C1, R2, R4 area. But this part of Washington Park, particularly with this 845 proposed business is being asked, it's actually within the residential area. Here you have restaurants, a number of restaurants, gift shop, barbershop, ice cream parlor. It's a vibrant area that's coming around. And we heard the testimonies tonight, Madam Chair. The community has reason against it. The community, through advocates, through petitions, through letters, through phone calls, and other means of communications, have said that they don't feel that this is the right type of business for this area at this point. It just does not conform with the type of business that has come to develop lately within the area. If you want to talk about the building itself, I don't see the parking anywhere. I was raised in this community. I go by this building all the time. I live here. I don't think this building has the parking capacity. It's right at the corner of Carolina Avenue, which is a very, very narrow road. I cannot see a large vehicle or a truck having the ability to park there if they would happen to unload something to be stored. So although, you know, CPC and Mr. Azar have concluded that, you know, it's in line with the comprehensive plan, I mean, I think that that could be explained in many different ways, that could be made where it perhaps could fit in within a comprehensive plan. But there is a plan that is extremely important, and we must pay attention to that plan. And that is the community plan. The community has spoken. They don't feel that it's fitting. I mean, I don't feel that it's fitting. I think that in Lower South Providence and within the area, we already have too many liquor stores, Madam Chair. We already have smoke shop. We have hookah bars around down here. So to complement that area where a tobacco corporation and manufacturer, I don't think it's appropriate or it's proper. I think our community deserves better than a major tobacco corporation. Yet I get Attorney Garrett, he says that it's by appointment, but still, it's a major store within our neighborhoods, and our community has spoken and they do not want it. So I must rise against it. And I ask my colleague for their support in protecting our community. So thank you very much, Madam Chair, for your time.
Thank you very much. Councilman Narducci? You mute. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I heard, Attorney Gary he properly, and I know a little bit about the facility. They sell cigarettes, they sell, other tobacco products, but they also sell, candy for vending machines and stuff like that there. And I guess one of my questions would be, to, Mr. Azar is if, what would stop any other businesses in that general area from filing for an M1 and us being able to say no to them, if this does pass?
Well, this change is absolutely at your discretion. You have the ability to if somebody wanted to come in at a later date and say they wanted a zoning change to expand, to include more of the uses that are allowed in M1, you would consider it the way you're considering this. By voting in favor of this amendment, that doesn't bind you to the future to further loosen the zoning. In fact, I think there would be an argument to be made that M1 without restrictions, that is probably inconsistent with the comprehensive plan.
Thank you as always, Bobby. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilman. Attorney Gary, do you have any response to the council person who represents the community that this property is located in?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you very much. And I appreciate the councilman's concerns and the residents' concerns. I think we reached out to them and we tried to say, look, this isn't appropriate for a commercial zone. It's also appropriate for this use, which is presently going on there. So we believe it's appropriate, and we specifically limit it so that there wouldn't be a bar or other type of obnoxious, if you excuse me, if a bar is obnoxious use for the neighborhood. This is commercial. It's not residential. There was some concern that some of the neighbors said it's residential. Well, it's not residential. It's on Allen's Avenue, and it's a commercial use. And that's what we tried to tailor it to make it a commercial use, which has all the commercial uses which are in the C1, as well as to allow this wholesale use, which is frankly the current use of the property, and to allow this organization, which has been operating in Providence for a long time, to continue in Providence. The M1 zone is right across Carolina Avenue. I mean, we're trying to say, look, it's M1, but it's limited to those commercial uses. So it's really, really scaled back from the very property which is right next door on Carolina Avenue. So it's not, it's an attempt really to accommodate this use and to accommodate the neighborhood by continuing the commercial uses that's appropriate for the land and for the building that's already there. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Attorney Gary, there's no modifications planned for the building?
None of the exterior. Certainly the interior, there would be modifications interior, but none for the exterior.
And there was a question of parking. Perhaps Mr. Azar, are you still with us?
Yes.
What's the story with parking? Is there adequate parking to support the facility?
Yes, I believe that the parking would comply for the new use.
Right, and Madam Chair, there's 4 parking spaces right on Allen's Avenue, right at the front place there, and that's the parking. That's all that's needed. As I say, it's by appointment sales only, so it's not a heavy demand for parking, and it would comply.
Councilman Espinal, thank you very much, Attorney Gary. Councilman Espinal, you have your hand up again, I assume?
Yes, in regards to the parking, I believe Mr. Azar or Mr. Garrett are referring to the on-street parking on Allen's Avenue, not actually parking that belongs to the building itself. And right next to to the building on Carolina Avenue, you have a number of families that live there. I don't think they'll be grateful if we deliver a tobacco manufacturing company right next to where they're trying to raise their family. Across the street from the building at the corner of New York and Allen's Avenue, there are 4 apartments there. So 4 families live there. Although it says commercial and on the north side of Carolina, on the north side of the building is an M1 area. I just don't think that the people of this community, people in Carolina, people across the street, people in that area deserve a tobacco manufacturing company where they're trying to raise the family. And I know we signaled many times to the comprehensive plan, but there is one plan that is stronger, that is more solid, that is one that we that guides and should guide our principle, which is the community plan. And this does not meet the community plan guidelines. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, thank you.
Madam Chair,
Councilman
just for,
Chief,
Madam Chair, thank you. Just once
I'll circle back to you, Attorney Garrity. Go ahead, Mr.
once again, so I can
Councilman.
have a clearer picture at it too. Thank you. My question would be for Attorney Garrity. Is this going to be a manufacturing facility or more like a storage / warehouse facility?
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes, please.
And that was the point I was going to raise, Councilman. It's not manufacturing in any respect at all. It's warehouse wholesale. Warehouse wholesale. Goods are delivered. The packages are broken down to be delivered and to where people come and pick them up in smaller quantities. It's not manufacturing in any respect. And although it's the M1 zone, which allows manufacturing, this, the way it's restricted, is limited to wholesale and warehouse, not manufacturing in any respect.
Attorney Garrity, what is the name of the business?
Hold on, Councilman Espinal.
I am so sorry.
That's okay. You may continue. Councilman Espinal.
Thank you. Attorney Garrity, what is the name of the business?
The business is Conklin Tobacco Corporation, Councilman.
So it's a corporation. Is that the complete name?
Yes, sir.
I thought I saw manufacturing there somewhere in the name. I may have it wrong.
Conklin Tobacco Corporation. It's not a manufacturer. It never has been.
So it's a tobacco corporation and it's going to be a wholesale. I imagine that it's also retail as well.
They do not operate retail. They could operate retail. The C1 zone allows for the retail. It's not part of their business as a general rule. They do
But
not
nothing will stop them if they so decided to sell retail. They would be legally allowed to do so.
Yes, sir. It's allowed in the C1 zone, and it would be allowed in the M1 zone with the restrictions that we talk about, resale, sale of goods.
Right. So the family raising the kids on Carolina Avenue right next to this building can just go right up the street and go in and buy their tobacco products and all the stuff that they want, right?
They do not sell at retail presently, Councilman.
But they could in the future sell at retail. If we allow this, nothing will stop them from retailing tobacco because they will be allowed under the law to do so.
Well, the business as it's operating now, the way it's structured right now, could be a retail business. It's C1, it's allowed. So this doesn't affect that. It's allowed presently, retail sale of goods.
Right, but this is where the community has said, we have enough liquor store, we have enough tobacco dispensary. We have enough of this type of business that are not contributing to the families in the area. I get it, it contributes to the business people, to the developers, but not to the families that I represent that are trying to raise their kids or children's here. There is a future in South Providence and in Washington Park. We just need to preserve opportunities to the people that live here. It's my duty and my job to make sure that the businesses that are coming in are in compliance with the community plan. So,
Okay.
that's where I stand.
Thank you, Councilman Espinal. Just
Thank you,
want to
Councilman.
circle back, hold on, I just want to circle back and ask my committee members if they have any questions or concerns that they'd like to express at this time. Okay, I see Councilwoman Anthony has her hand up.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I'm a little concerned with this. I know that we listened to Mr. Azar talk about, the fact that, the problem with the applicant going for a use variance at the zoning board of review is that they wouldn't be able to meet the threshold of no beneficial use. And I guess I'd like to say that's exactly why we have the zoning board of review. I hope I'm not mischaracterizing what he said. I'm sure he's here and will respond, but I mean, this is a use that is not allowed. And I don't know why we as a committee, as a council member would not follow our own procedures. They should go before the zoning board and ask and submit a use variance. And if it isn't allowed, if they can't meet the requirements of the thresholds, it shouldn't be allowed. I'm also very concerned that this is going to be setting a precedent, as Councilman Narducci said. So I'm just a little puzzled by what's happening here.
Thank you. Solicitor Dinniman, can you shed some light on that? You're muted.
Yes, I can, and thank you, Madam Chair. And I have obviously no position on whether or not this committee votes for or against this, but for clarification, and Councilwoman Anthony, I apologize in advance, but it's actually the flip side. The zoning board denies use variances when they're not appropriate. And over the past year and a half, they have been saying, this is not appropriate for a use variance. You need to go to the city council and get a zone change if you want this as your use, because you cannot meet the threshold. So it then comes before this committee in the proper forum, and it's up to this committee and up to the city council to exercise its discretion as to whether or not it wants to allow it, as long as it's based on the comprehensive plan. So it's not that they should be at the zoning board. They are at the right place. If they had come to the zoning board, Mr. Garrity would have been told to come to the ordinance committee and request a zone change.
Thank you very much, Solicitor. I appreciate that clarification. Councilman Espinal, you have your hand up. Councilman Espinal.
Actually, I'm all set.
Okay, great. All right.
I think Councilwoman Anthony has her.
Councilwoman Anthony, do you have your hand up again, or?
Yes, I do. I wanted to thank Lisa Dinnerman. She's the best. Yes, that would seem appropriate. But again, I think then that rest with us. And I still think that, I think the councilman's concerns about the neighbors and what the neighborhoods wish to do is paramount in this. And I would definitely not support this if it comes to council.
If it came to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, committee, what's your pleasure? What are you thinking, committee members? What is your pleasure on this matter? Any committee members have any thoughts? What would you like to do? Deputy Majority Leader Harris, what are your thoughts?
I have to agree with, thank you, Madam Chair. But I have to agree with my colleague as well, Councilwoman Anthony. It seems like our colleague, Councilman Espinal, is very uncomfortable with this. What we have been faced sometime, and even though different departments need to get their work done, so do we at times. However, we do have constituents that live in neighborhoods that care about the neighborhoods, and they have a right to input. We all have a right to want to live around certain things and have certain things in our neighborhood. I got to agree with Councilman Espinal. South Providence have had its share of things that nobody else wants, right? And so you didn't say that, but I'm saying that because that's how I feel like that's what happens a lot. So I would like for us to continue this until the councilman and the neighbors are able to do a little bit more, whatever they need to do over there to accommodate the work that has to be done for Mr. Garahy to be able to move forward. I would suggest that the owner itself meet with the constituents as well, to, just explain what it is he's doing, how many employees that he's employing. That might balance it off a little bit, because in this day and time, we also want to look at economic development. We want to be able to have people have equity and opportunities for jobs. If that's the case, it may not be the case, and I would like for us to continue until there is a little more. I'm feeling uncomfortable going beyond my colleague to vote tonight. That's just me, unless other council people have something else to say.
Councilman Narducci? Thank you, Councilman Harris. Councilman Narducci, what are your thoughts?
Madam Chair, you've been around for a while with me, and for over 16 years now, I've always fought for our neighborhoods. We know them the best. Nobody else knows our neighborhoods any better than us. We know what our people want and don't want, and I do feel that the business is not a open door wholesale policy type thing, Councilman. It's not a manufacturer, but if fortunately enough, the way I look at it, if the councilman's not comfortable with it in his community, or we could find another spot in Providence for the Conklin brothers to locate, I would be definitely open-minded on that. But I would have to, at this point in time, I would have to support the councilman's feelings. It's his constituents. If these are the issues, then we need to support our colleagues.
Thank you, Councilman.
Anyone else? Committee members? What's your pleasure? Councilwoman Harris recommended a motion to continue. Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Second that motion by Vice Chair Castillo, seconded also by Councilwoman Miller. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. This matter is continued, allowing time for the petitioner to speak with our colleague, Councilman Espinal, who's articulated the wants and desires of his neighborhood. I think he did a great job. He is an ambassador for his community, and we have to listen to what the community wants. We are a city of neighborhoods. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate the courtesy of the continuance. I really do. Thank you very much.
That gives you some time to work on it. Anything else?
There is no further business.
Okay, no further business. May I have a motion to adjourn? Motion made by Councilman Narducci, seconded by Vice Chair Castillo. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Motion passes. Councilman Espinal, are you waving goodbye? Or did you want to say something?
Goodbye, and I'm thanking my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
We're adjourned. Thank you, Solicitor Dinniman. Thank you.